Star Trek: The Lower Decks. Season 1 official trailer has already come out. CBS All Access. I'm going to give you my take on it because I am a layman when it comes to Star Trek in general. I'm more of a Star Wars fan. I used to be a Star Wars fan. I really stopped caring about 4 or 5 years ago, and then when Rise of Skywalker, all that stuff, man, Disney trilogy, I'm not a fan of, but I can understand. But there's a lot of people out there, or there's a video that I've seen that explained why they love the Disney Disney trilogy. They explained it, and I thought it was interesting. Still not my cup of tea, but you know what? If you enjoy it, go for it. But there's a bunch of people out there from Mecha Random 42, Nerdrotic, who dislike it, Midnight's Edge, who all said that it wasn't Star Trek. They're not gonna they hate it. They don't want to watch it. It's not Star Trek. It's a parody based off of a parody. It's a copy based off of a copy. It's not the thing. It's not what they grew up with. So I'll talk about that in a bit. And then Jessie Gender, I'm not too certain. I haven't seen her other videos, but she and the other people who are following her content, they like it. They're looking forward to it. They have their own criticisms, but let's get into the reaction itself. So with Star Trek, and I'm not going to actually be playing it because I don't want to be copyrighted. That's a thing that can happen with CBS having. It's very difficult to play any content from Star Trek or specifically CBS. They'll just copyright the crap out of your video. But the introduction, the animation, I think is legitimate. I kind of liked it. I gave it it made me smile at the very beginning because it kind of felt good at the very beginning. But then right here, there's a lot of people who were criticizing oh, she was making fun of him, ha ha ha. But I love this parody. Right here is when he's doing something very serious and he's doing the very serious thing in the dark, and then somebody finds him. It's like, oh, hey, are you going? Oh, are you doing the thing? I found it funny. I thought that was a genuine moment of just hilarity for me. But the issue through the entire thing is that it feels like Rick and Morty, and it's just constant action, story, plot. Everything's crammed, and there's no time to breathe. So anytime that there's something that does happen, there's no time for me to absorb what the hell happened. It doesn't feel like Star Trek. As a person who I enjoyed the 2009 Star Trek movie, I really did. I'm probably one of the few people on the internet that actually does. But it doesn't feel like Star Trek. It feels like Rick and Morty is making a parody of Star Trek. It's making a parody of a parody. And I'm this entire show feels like it's something that you put on in the background. It's not something you invest your time or money in specifically. But if you just want to have something on in the background, this might be something you would want to watch, or maybe even just listen to every once in a while. But don't pay for it. I don't recommend. This is not something I would pay for. I wouldn't recommend either way whether or not you would want to pay for it. But for me, I cannot honestly say I would want to pay for this type of stuff. I would not want to get CBS All Access. This is something that it kind of turns me off, but not because it's just so over the top. It's just a show I can't get into. It's again like this. This is not Star Trek. Right here, this is Rick and Morty. Right here, her face, her reaction, if you actually watch the entire trailer, is the purple-haired guy is naked in the middle of a room, and he's doing a come on into some joke. But he's naked and he's trying to be all sexy, and she comes in and didn't expect it. But one thing that I will give him is that they gave him a gigantic censor right down below, a gigantic one. It's like, oh, that was nice. Go you, dude. But I couldn't smile through the entire thing because I was trying to pay attention to what was going on. The only genuine moments were this right here, where they allowed a joke to play out. That was awesome. But every single thing thereafter is, hey, new character. Hey, here's a joke. Hey, you look at me. Hey, there's stuff going on. It's just, it was cram-packed with crap. Again, it's crap because of how much stuff was happening. It felt like Rick and Morty. And one thing at the very end is this point where she shoots the phaser at the main male protagonist, and he says like, "Oh, you would have phasered me," and it's like, "Oh no, it's not." I mean, it's she looks at it, squambles a little bit, like, it's set to stun, and sets it to stun because it was set to kill or something. Which again, I thought it's okay to have very cliche, silly jokes like that. I'm a fan of that if it makes it work. But and they allowed a joke to play out at the very end. This show may not be something I would be watching because of how quickly it goes. And with every single other person who's coming out there talking about it, their criticism's not wrong. Meaning, Jessie Gender, I haven't watched this. I don't care to. But I do want to go into the comments section about what other people are talking about, because that's something that I can, make certain that I'm not getting any copyright issues or infringements on my account. And we're going to go with that. Give me 1 second to look up a specific video. From Nerdrotic's live stream with Doomcock, Star Trek Lower Decks reaction, Disney Star Wars Deception. More importantly, we're going to be focusing on the Star Trek Lower Decks reactions. If we go down to the very bottom with some of the comments, I made my own comment, but I already commented on the comment that I commented on. So the official Dougie. CBS has turned off comments and hidden the like-dislike ratio on the Lower Decks trailer. And more importantly, I want to hear what other people have to say about this. Now, every single person here that I've read from other channels as well, it's more of bashing on the trailer where I'm just not interested in it. I think it's an okay thing, but So, but they just turned off comments and stopped showing the likes to dislikes to the trailer for Lower Decks. Was 4.1 thousand dislikes to 2.4 thousand likes from when I was able to last see. I think I gave that. Yeah, I gave that a like. Hail Inquisitors! The sodomy continues with Star Trek Necrophilia, stunning and brave and boring. The Lower Deck the Lower Deck dribbles looks even worse than that abominable Star Wars cartoon from last year. Good God. Hey Lois, I joined Starfleet Academy. The trending is continued with the by YouTube, simple as that. Quite evident with the Bree video. I noticed that The Last Jedi trending on Twitter was watching live stream. That has nothing to do with Star Trek. Oh wow, that Star Trek cartoon looks terrible. So on and so forth. Just criticism after criticism after criticism. And again, some of them are actually pretty good. Star Trek, Teen Trek, we're teenager has never been. Okay, whatever. Moving on to the next one. silly. Oh, shush. Star Trek from Midnight's Edge. Star Trek Lower Decks trailer reaction. No wonder both Netflix and Amazon passed on it. And if we scroll to the very bottom, where the comments are. Hey guys, you're right. You're right. Trailer sucks, and the dislike ratio to likes is telling on the video. Oh, and while reading comments around 12:55 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, they turned off comments and stopped showing the dislikes to like ratio, which I think was 2.4 likes to 4.1 thousand dislikes. I mean, 2.4 thousand likes to 4.1 thousand dislikes. Was getting error messages halfway through reading comments on the video. Not surprised they would stoop to do that. Thumbs up. Thank you for informing us. CBS, dear Amazon, we have this new brand Star Trek. Are you interested? Amazon, well, oh sorry, we just ran out of disk space on our servers. Cannot take any more TV series at the moment. CBS, dear Netflix, are you interested in our amazing new Star Trek? Sorry, there's a lot of interference. Cannot hear you. We're cutting out. To think that we once had cartoons like X-Men, the animated series, which I enjoyed it. I wasn't as much of an avid watcher to that. Again, I guess it was too realistic of an animation. It wasn't catered to technically kids, even though it was a cartoon. I think it was just too adult for me, so I didn't really watch it. But looking back, I really wish I watched more of the X-Men and the animated series when I was younger. in Ghostbusters. We had serious representations of these franchise in cartoon form that didn't patronize kids' intelligence. Look at the cast. It's Teen Titans Go with Star Trek skin. I actually agree with that. Teen Titans Go, I think, is an abomination. Teen Titans, the original cartoon, some of the times when they would take you out of it, the original Teen Titans, when they would make something goofy or somebody's floating because they're in love or something, it's like those were kind of okay for me. It's a cartoon. That's what was endearing about it. But there were just some episodes that just felt too cartoonish. I like Teen Titans, the animated series, because of how real it felt, which kind of, I guess, contradicts what I originally stated about X-Men, the animated series. Oh, it happens. So, thumbs up. When people who hate Star Trek make Star Trek, I don't agree with that, but it does feel like that. It feels like they're trying to make Star Trek better than it once was. Oh, Serenity, that was a good movie. Remember when the movie Data? Remember when in the movie Data is trying out the new emotion chip, and he starts singing the Life Forms song. I laughed my ass off. I just watched it, which I had the same sentiment. It felt too crammed. It felt too just, here's a joke, here's a joke, here's a joke. They didn't let a joke play out except for at the very beginning and at the very end. If they did that, if they cut out all the, hey, this is what our entire trailer was all about. Which one was it? Scrolling up. No, that was that one. 1 second. Okay, again, at the very beginning, they play out a joke. They let a joke at the very beginning play out. And at the very end, they allow a joke to play out. It might seem silly. It might be kind of a type of joke, but they play it out. And I kind of enjoyed it. So, but if we go back to... So many videos here. There we go. This. Yeah. I just watched it. I honestly thought it was a joke made by a YouTube channel that hated Star Trek. I think it's a little bit too harsh. But I understand the sentiment for anybody who is a Star Trek fan. I mean, I'm a Star Wars fan. If anybody came out with something like that, it just kind of like went over the top of, hey guys, joke, and nothing played out, I'd probably feel the same way. I honestly just want to cry, except crying would be too much effort. I am dead inside. Woo, dude. I'm not going to say, no, like, go get a ice cream bar or something. It's like, woo, that's tough. That's deep. Remember the movie Serenity? Remember when, spoiler warning, remember when they gassed that planet and everyone was so passive they just laid down and slowly starved to death? Remember how that made the Reavers? I wish I could be a Reaver, but I am more of those who want to just lie down and slowly starve to death. The trailer takes away my will to live. I pray for rage, but no, I simply have no hope left. Actually, it kind of seems like a Shakespearean play, if you will. Star Trek, lowest common denominator. Oh, that's actually a pretty good pun. Pretty good burn. Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home is how you write Trek comedy. Wait, okay. This is Star Trek. Disney, well, we ruined Star Wars. CBS, hold my Romulan ale. That's pretty funny. As people below said, this is Star Trek made by hacks who hate what Star Trek represents. Not really surprised. And I would actually agree with that. If we go to the original Star Trek, way over, oh no, I moved it. There we go. If we go to the original trailer itself, one of the things that I just dislike about it is that you can tell it's made by or for SJWs. Why do I say that? Because the representation, you kind of can already start guessing if it's going to be SJW, if it's going to be woke, if it's going to be quote-unquote leftist. Not liberal. Classic liberals I love to listen to. I love to watch their content. V for Vendetta, for example. I think that was made not by SJWs, or if it was phenomenally made. It was phenomenally made. Even though it may bash on religious people and people on the right, which, let's just say that I don't really have a quote-unquote denomination politically, but it was well represented that regardless of whoever may be in charge in V for Vendetta, whoever may be the bad guy, it doesn't matter what identity that person holds. It's the activities that are what matters. That there is somebody who's dictatorial, who's saying, no, you can't do this. No, don't go out after this hour. Stay inside. This is what will feed you. This is the mainstream media. This is the narrative. And again, in the real world, it's not the right that's doing that. It's every part of the left. Every single person, most mainstream medias, if you only name one mainstream media that's on the right, it's Fox News. Every single other person on the left is in mainstream media. Every single one. And again, it doesn't make you left or right to either. It's not a left or right issue, because right now it's just a who's telling me what I can and cannot do. There was at one point where people on the right were telling people what they can and cannot do. And if I really was politically aware about 10, 20 years ago, or actually about 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, I would probably have been on the left, because I don't like people telling me what I can or cannot do. If you don't tell me what I can and cannot do, more power to you. I actually want to listen to you now. So that's kind of how I am, and I don't want to get any more political other than that, which I probably will. But the reason why this is more SJW woke nonsense is that the characters here at the very beginning, I thought this was funny. At the very end, I thought it was funny. But you can tell who this is going to be pandering to, or who the target demographic is. And unfortunately, they're using identity to in my opinion, or at least from how I've seen it or experienced it, is that there's a degradation. There's a removal of that type of person being in a prominent power or being in a certain position. For example, black woman or a person of color, specifically a person of color who's a woman, who's the main character through the entire show. The second character is a guy who's weak, okay, who has colored hair, who's always fantastic, strong black woman. I don't care. Make a good story out of it. But this guy is just so weak and someone who deserves no position that he has. And then you have quote-unquote black man who, which, again, you can have identity, but what I don't like is that the constant use of it. And they made the white character weak. One thing that I've said over and over and over and over, if you don't want me to care about, if you don't want me to say, if you want me to focus on identity, if you want me to focus on sex, if you want me to focus on religion, fine. But that also means that I get to be pissed off at you for making my identity white people, because that's my group. No, not American. Not of whether or not you're part of an ideology that I can care for you. Not of whether or not of a merit that I can respect for you, even though I may disagree with you ideologically. But if you want me to focus on specifically skin color, you made this character weak, therefore I'm in the right for calling you out and saying everyone else on the show degrades them. Again, these people right here, fantastic. You made them strong, but you made the weak character, you made the main character weak. You made him into a pussy. You made him into a fucking bitch. But again, that's one of the things that I don't care to go down that route, even though I sort of have that training inside of me because of constant woke crap coming out. I would probably want to watch this. It's like I want to watch it. But first joke at the beginning, the first joke at the end, I enjoyed. But it just seems a little too it really does. And it's just, I really wish that there's nothing else that I could really say about this. Yeah. I have to go to the store. I have to go ship out something because somebody bought something off of eBay for me, which I'm really grateful for. I'm going to give them a thank you card and everything. So, but go out and watch the original trailer. Watch, again, just like Jessie Gender. Make your own opinion about it. If you like it, for whatever reason you like it, focus on that. If you like it, and go for it, enjoy it. I just don't think that it's actually Star Trek. It's a parody of Star Trek. And again, if you have a story that's even better, don't devote any time, energy, or effort for everyone else. Don't devote your time, energy, and effort to anything Star Trek related. If you have a better story to tell, make your own thing. Don't try to make fan fiction. Don't try to come out there and say what Star Trek could have done. Star Trek is not the original Star Trek, which some people in the current modern day would be like, yay! But there's a lot of people jumping ship, pun intended. It's if you like it, you like it, but I don't know what to say about that. Thank you very much for being a part of this. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you like some of this content. I'd love to help you with your daily news feed or something. I don't know. But more importantly, go out there and create. Go out there and make your own story. Go out there and share content. Go out there and contribute to someone. Go out there and help people. I don't know. It's just go out there and do something positive today. That actually sounds pretty good. Go out there and do something positive today. Yeehaw! Okay, I'll see you later this evening.